Hi, this is Riaz from Networks Learning. Welcome to Cisco Next Generation Firewall Training. In previous video, we have covered URL filtering, the basics in how you can configure URL filtering in your network depending on the requirements. And in this video, we will demonstrate how to actually configure and test at FTD uh, the URL filtering. Here first I will demonstrate you the URL filtering that are already allowed on FTD, and then we will block some of them at firewall and will test the results accordingly. Either FTD is blocking those URLs or not, which we are considering as malicious URLs or not a good URL. So URL filtering comes under access control policy. Inside access control policy, you can create rules which should contain the conditions of URL filtering, and you can apply them here. So at this level, you can configure URLs that you want to block, you want to monitor, you want to allow, or you want to have an interactive block with reset as well. So let's go to the our client machine, which in this case is Windows client, and test the URLs first. Uh, we will test two things. One, we will test with the social media Facebook site, and another URL that we can block over here. I have created a local URL on my this WAN router, which is connected on outside of the firewall, and over here I can show you I have created a DNS entry with networkslearning.com. So in previous videos we checked that hack.com and rgs.com were used for DNS policy, which are already configured and applied. Now we will have a look on networkslearning.com, and we will configure this URL as you know either to block or to allow from the firewall URL policy. And we will also check with the social media site like Facebook. But first we will check that both of these sites should be reachable from inside machine, which in this case is this client machine. So let me test with Facebook. Here you can see I am able to reach to the facebook.com, and at the same time let me show you the networkslearning.com, and you can also verify that networks learning is being resolved against my WAN router IP 192.168.88.1, because I have created a DNS entry over there. So this is my WAN router which is physically connected with this network. So we are able to reach on both of these websites. So in first phase, I will block facebook.com and will check the results, and then we will block another URL networkslearning.com, and we'll check the results as well. So currently both are reachable. Let's go to the policy. Under access control policy, we have URL filtering. Inside URL filtering, I will say that block Facebook, and I want to just block it. You can have block with interactive block, and then block interactive block as well, with a giving the opportunity to the user that this is a risky, but if you want to go, you can click on and proceed further as well. This is the interactive block. So I want to just block. My incoming source zone is inside and outgoing is outside, and my URL is, I can just put, or I can just add from here, social media site, social networking, social networking site. If blocking social networking site, all all the social networking sites will be blocked. If you are specifically, if you want to specifically block Facebook, you can go to the application level. Currently, we are not looking at applications. I will cover the application section in another video, but we are concentrating on URLs. So this is a category based filtering. In category based filtering, we have social networking. Inside social networking, we have reputations based on the risk level of the sites. So I want to ignore the reputation based ranking, and I will go straight away in social networking. Add to the rule. Social networking sites are blocked. So click on add. One thing is to enable the logging so that we can monitor the traffic which is being passed. So here the rule comes at the serial number of 3, but at level 2, if you closely observe the rule which says that the name is the IT subnet, source is inside, going to outside, and source is IT subnet, and rest of the conditions are any, and is allowed for HTTP, HTTPS, DNS entries for UDP and TCP. But if this rule is at level 3 for my Facebook, it won't be working, because at rule 2 this traffic will be allowed. So I need to put this rule at level 2 and move the HTTP and HTTPS rule below the Facebook rule. So this will work, I think so. So in social networking side, I have blocked this one. Click on save. Deployment. I will deploy the changes, and once the deployment is finished, I will be back and will check the results accordingly. You can see here the deployment has started. So let me pause the video. The deployment has been completed successfully, and we can now test the configured URL filtering rule from the access machine, which is access client. So this was the rule configured. Facebook block Facebook. Actually, its name should be block social sites, but and at URL we have blocked the social networking sites. So let's go and test from the client machine. Here you can also open the connection events as well. So let's test with the facebook.com. It should be blocked, and we should also get the Twitter blocked as well. Twitter.com, facebook.com, the site can't be reached. And over here at connection events, we should see the logs against the traffic that is blocked by the firewall. You can see over here. Let me drag it over here. Social networking, trusted, favorable. You can see over here. Let me go to more details about the packet. So the first packet action is blocked. Initiator IP is 10.12.100. Our main machine IP. Responder is 88.1. Source zone is inside and egress zone is outside, and the destination port is 53. It has tried to resolve the name against facebook.com. So the client is DNS. Application risk is very low. Business relevance is very high. So you can have multiple granular control over the URL filtering. The URL category is social networking, and URL reputation is trusted. The Facebook comes under trusted reputation category, but we didn't configure any reputation based ranking for these facebook.com. We collectively configured the social networking rule. So access control policy is this, and access control rule for this action was block Facebook, which we configured previously. So this is how you can configure URL filtering in FTD. One more thing we will cover over here. We block the facebook.com and social sites with category based filtering, but now I will configure another rule for my networkslearning.com, which is being served by this physical router over here. So I will block this one. You can see this is not blocked yet because I have blocked the social sites. Networks learning is still reachable. Okay, we can still go over there. Let me configure a static URL filter rule to block the networkslearning.com. I will go over here, block networks learning URL. You can have an interactive block as well, or you can have interactive block with reset. So we will go with interactive block with reset this time. Incoming zone is inside and outgoing zone is outside. And at URLs you can have your own URLs over here. At URL you can add your URL with the URL object. Its name is learning networks and the URL is networks learning. Basically it's networkslearning.com. Let me verify again. It's networkslearning.com. Click on save. So at URL you can search for it and it's here, and you can add it to the rule networkslearning.com. Logging is enabled, logging at the beginning, at the end, and interactive, since we are employing the interactive block with resets, so there must be some kind of interactive block option or application zones. I don't know where we can have that one, intrusion variable, but it gives you the option that if you want to have your own interactive page, or you can use built-in interactive page that is made for the interactive block inside the FTD. So let's see what happens. Dynamic attributes, so interactive block with reset. So this one is entered over here, networks learning, containing networkslearning.com. Click on OK. So we need to social networking, we need to put this rule over here at level 3. Let me check with the interactive block where we can have interactive block. Yeah, there it is. HTTP responses, interactive block response page. You can use your system provided, or you can use your custom one over here. You can view over here. Block response page, interactive block response page. Block response page is none. You can use system provided, or you can use your custom one. So this is the interactive block and block. So I have blocked networks learning with interactive block as well. Click on save. Click on deploy. Deploy the policy and wait for the deployment, and we'll be back with the testing results. So the deployment has completed successfully, and we can test from our LAN machine, and we can verify the results against the configured policy, connection and events. Let me initiate the request from the machine with networkslearning.com. Since we configured with the interactive block and reset, so let's experience what FTD responds to our request. No, it's still accessible, but it should be blocked. I don't know why it's not being blocked. You can see over here interactive block with reset. The action was taken place, but we haven't seen any kind of interactive block page at uncategorized unknown. Access rule was followed. Interactive block. I don't know why it's not working, but the interactive block with reset means you will be provided with a page saying that this is not a valid URL, and you will be reset, and the request will be reset accordingly. Now I will change it to the action of the rule to be blocked, and we'll test again. It should not pass the traffic. I don't know why it's passing. Networks learning. Interactive block. Block with reset. Interactive block with reset. Just block the traffic. Again deployment. The deployment has successfully been completed, and now we can test the results against our configured rule of the URL filtering. So let me show you again with the rule which was created to block networks learning. This was the rule, and the URL object was created over here with the name of networks learning. So we will initiate traffic from the access device, and we'll check either it is being blocked at FTD or not. Networkslearning.com. Since we are not getting any response on web page, it means that it is being blocked at FTD, and we can verify it from connection and events. You can see over here that traffic is being blocked from 10.12.1.100 and going to 192.168.88.1. But what kind of traffic is it? We can see over here, networkslearning.com. So you can go into more detail about this packet and see what actually the rules are being applied on this traffic. So the action is blocked, traffic initiator is this, and destination is 88.1. Since 192.168.88.1 is mapped with networkslearning.com, I can show you over here. This is a static entry for networkslearning.com. So it is being blocked at FTD, inside zone, outside zone, and destination port is 80, HTTP traffic, and URL is networkslearning.com, and category is uncategorized. Access control policy is RGS campus ACP, and access control rule is block networks learning URL. So this is how you can block URLs with your custom URL entry inside the URL rules. Thanks for watching this video. We will be covering some more policies in coming videos. You can check my previous videos. We have covered a lot of things, including access control policies, including security intelligence, the DNS policy, pre-filter policy, quality of service, NAT. All these are already covered in my previous videos. Thanks for watching.